You know what's crazy? We've all been lied to about love. We grew up watching movies where people fall madly in love at first sight, where passion never fades, where happily ever after just happens. And then real life hits, and suddenly you're sitting across from someone you once couldn't keep your hands off of, and you're both just scrolling through your phones in silence. So what happened? Did you pick the wrong person? Are you just not meant to be? Or is there something else going on that nobody ever told you about? Here's the truth, and this is backed by actual science. Lasting love isn't about finding the perfect person. It's not about chemistry or fate or soulmates. It's about understanding how your brain works and working with it, not against it. And once you understand this, everything changes. Let me start by telling you something that might hurt a little bit. That intense, can't eat, can't sleep, butterflies in your stomach feeling you had at the beginning, the one you're trying desperately to get back, that wasn't actually love. I know. Stay with me here. That was a chemical cocktail of dopamine, norepinephrine, and phenylethylamine flooding your brain, essentially putting you in a state similar to someone who just did cocaine. I'm not even exaggerating. Brain scans of people in early-stage romantic love look remarkably similar to brain scans of people on stimulants. And here's the thing about that stage. It has to end. Biologically, it has to. Your body literally cannot sustain that level of neurochemical intensity for more than about 18 months to 3 years max. If it did, you'd never eat properly, you'd never sleep, you'd never be able to focus on anything else. You'd die. So your brain, in all its wisdom, starts to calm down. The dopamine levels out. The obsession fades. And this is where most relationships either evolve into something deeper or they fall apart because people think that when the fireworks stop, the love is gone. But that's not what's happening at all. What's actually happening is your relationship is trying to transition from passionate love to what psychologists call companionate love. And this is where it gets beautiful, because companionate love, this deeper form of connection, this is what actually predicts whether couples stay together and stay happy for decades. This is the real thing. But we've been so conditioned to chase the high of early romance that we don't even recognize real love when it's staring us in the face. Dr. John Gottman, who's probably studied more relationships than anyone alive, spent decades watching couples interact. And he can predict with over 90% accuracy whether a couple will stay together or divorce just by watching them talk for a few minutes. 90%. And you want to know what he's looking for? It's not passion. It's not even how much they fight. It's how they fight, and more importantly, how they treat each other during everyday mundane moments. He found that happy couples who make it for the long haul, they have this thing he calls a positive sentiment override. Basically, even when their partner does something annoying, they give them the benefit of the doubt. They assume positive intent. Unhappy couples have the opposite negative sentiment override. Everything their partner does gets interpreted in the worst possible light. Your partner forgets to text you back? If you have positive sentiment override, you think they're probably just busy. Negative sentiment override? They don't care about you anymore. And here's what's wild. Which override you have isn't about how much you love each other. It's about what Gottman calls your emotional bank account. Every small moment of connection, every time you laugh together, every time one person reaches out and the other responds, that's a deposit. Every criticism, every dismissal, every time someone bids for attention and gets ignored, that's a withdrawal. And most relationships don't end because of major betrayals or huge fights. They end because of thousands of tiny withdrawals that slowly drain the account until there's nothing left. Think about it. When was the last time your partner told you about something small that happened in their day? Something that maybe didn't seem important and you actually put your phone down and really listened? That's a deposit. When was the last time they reached for your hand and you were too busy or too tired or too distracted? That's a withdrawal. These moments seem so small, so insignificant, but they're everything. They're literally everything. And this is why the science of lasting love is so hopeful, because it means love isn't some mysterious force you either have or you don't. It's not about finding someone so perfect that being with them is effortless. It's about small, consistent actions that build trust and connection over time. It's actually way more in your control than you think. Let me tell you about this concept from Sue Johnson, who created emotionally focused therapy. She talks about how humans are hardwired for attachment. It's not weak to need someone. It's not codependent to want closeness. It's literally how we survived as a species. Babies who stayed close to their caregivers lived. Babies who didn't make it. That programming is still in us. We are biologically designed to bond, to seek secure attachment with another person. And when we feel securely attached to our partner, when we know deep in our bones that they've got us, that they'll be there when we need them, something incredible happens. We're actually more independent. We take more risks. We're more successful in our careers. We're healthier, both mentally and physically. Secure attachment doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. But when that attachment feels threatened, when we're not sure if our partner will be there, that's when we start acting in ways that push them further away, either by clinging too tight or by shutting down completely. This is the protest polka, and every couple does it. One partner feels disconnected and reaches out, maybe by criticizing or demanding attention. The other partner feels attacked and withdraws, which makes the first partner reach out even more intensely, which makes the second partner withdraw even more, and round you go. And both people think the other person is the problem. The person reaching out thinks their partner doesn't care. The person withdrawing thinks their partner is impossible to please. But really, you're both just scared. You're both just trying to protect yourselves from the pain of disconnection. And here's what changes everything. Understanding that beneath the anger, beneath the criticism, beneath the silent treatment, there's always a deeper emotion. There's fear. There's hurt. There's a desperate need to know that you still matter to this person. When you can see past the surface emotions to that vulnerable place underneath, when you can say, I'm not actually angry that you stayed late at work, I'm scared that I'm not a priority to you anymore, or I don't actually want to withdraw from you, I just feel like I can never get it right and I don't know how to fix it, that's when real connection becomes possible again. The research on this is so clear. Couples who can be vulnerable with each other, who can express their deeper needs without blame, they don't just survive, they thrive. And vulnerability isn't weakness. Brené Brown has shown us this over and over. Vulnerability is actually the birthplace of love, of belonging, of joy. But it's scary as hell, isn't it? Because being vulnerable means giving someone the power to hurt you. It means admitting you need them. And we live in a culture that tells us we should be completely self-sufficient, that needing someone is a failure. But that's not how we're built. We need each other. And the couples who understand this, who can turn to each other and say, I need you, I'm hurting, I'm scared, help me understand what's happening between us, those are the couples whose love lasts. Now let me talk about something that trips up almost every couple: expectations. We all come into relationships with this invisible blueprint of what love should look like, and most of us don't even know it's there. It comes from your parents' relationship, from past relationships, from movies and books and songs, and when your partner doesn't match that blueprint, it feels like they're doing something wrong. But they're not. They just have a different blueprint. Gary Chapman's work on love languages opened a lot of people's eyes to this. Some people feel loved through words of affirmation, others through acts of service or gifts or quality time or physical touch. And the problem is, most of us show love in the way we want to receive it, not in the way our partner actually needs it. So you're over here working overtime to buy your partner nice things because that's how you'd feel loved, and they're wondering why you never just sit down and talk to them anymore. You're both trying. You're both loving each other, but you're missing each other completely. And it's not just love languages. It's how you handle conflict, how much alone time you need, how you deal with stress, how you communicate, what you think relationships should look like. There are 1,000 little incompatibilities that every couple has to navigate, and none of them mean you're wrong for each other. They just mean you're two different people trying to build one life together, and that takes intention and effort and a whole lot of communication. Which brings me to this. Communication isn't about talking more. Some couples talk all the time and still feel completely disconnected. Real communication is about making sure your partner feels heard and understood. It's about listening not to respond, but to actually understand where they're coming from, even if you disagree. It's about expressing your own needs clearly without blaming or attacking. And it's about repair. Because here's what Gottman found. Happy couples don't fight less. They just repair better. They don't let things fester. They don't give each other the silent treatment for days. When things get heated, they take breaks, they come back, they apologize, they try again, and they accept influence from each other. This was huge in his research. Relationships where both partners are willing to be influenced by each other, where both people are willing to compromise and see the other person's perspective, those relationships last. Relationships where one or both partners are rigid and unwilling to budge, those relationships struggle. And let's talk about something that nobody wants to admit. Maintaining a long-term relationship takes work. I know we want love to be effortless. We want it to just flow naturally. And sometimes it does. But a lot of the time, it doesn't. A lot of the time, you're going to have to choose your partner even when you don't feel like it. You're going to have to show up even when you're tired. You're going to have the hard conversations, even when you'd rather just watch Netflix and pretend everything's fine. But here's the thing. That work, when you're doing it with the right person, it doesn't feel like sacrifice. It feels like investment. It feels like building something that matters. And the payoff is enormous. People in happy long-term relationships are healthier, they live longer, they're more resilient to stress, they're happier overall. Not because the relationship is easy, but because it's worth it. So, what does all this science tell us about how to make love last? First, understand that the initial passion fading is normal. It's not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that you're transitioning to a deeper form of love, and you have to let that transition happen. Second, make deposits into your emotional bank account every single day. Small moments of kindness, attention, affection. They add up. Third, when conflict happens, and it will, fight fair. No contempt, no defensiveness, no stonewalling, no criticism. Express what you need without attacking who they are. Fourth, be vulnerable. Let your partner see the scared, uncertain parts of you. That's where real intimacy lives. Fifth, understand that you will never fully understand your partner. They will always be somewhat mysterious to you, and that's okay. Stay curious. Keep asking questions. Keep trying to see the world through their eyes. And sixth, choose each other. Every day. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because here's what I want you to understand. Lasting love isn't about luck. It's not about finding your soulmate. It's about two imperfect people who see each other fully, who choose each other consistently, and who are willing to do the work of staying connected even when life gets messy. And it will get messy. There will be periods where you feel disconnected. There will be times when you question everything. That's normal. That's part of the journey. The question isn't whether those hard times will come. The question is, when they do, will you turn toward each other or away from each other? Will you see those moments as signs that the relationship is failing or as opportunities to deepen your connection? Because every relationship crisis is actually an invitation to understand each other better, to build a stronger foundation, to choose each other again. And maybe that's the most beautiful thing about the science of lasting love. It tells us that love is a skill, not just a feeling. It's something you can get better at. It's something you can learn. You're not doomed to repeat the same patterns over and over. You can change. Your relationship can change. It's never too late to start making deposits, to start communicating better, to start showing up differently. So if you're in a relationship right now and you're struggling, don't give up just because the butterflies are gone. Don't walk away just because it's hard. Ask yourself, are we willing to do the work? Are we both committed to understanding each other better? Are we both willing to be vulnerable? If the answer is yes, there's so much hope. If the answer is no, well, that tells you something too. And if you're single right now, don't just look for someone who gives you butterflies. Look for someone who makes you feel safe. Look for someone who's willing to have hard conversations. Look for someone who shows up consistently in small ways. Look for someone who sees your flaws and chooses you anyway. Look for someone who's willing to do the work with you, because that's what lasting love is built on. Love isn't a fairy tale. It's better than a fairy tale. It's real, it's messy, it's hard, and it's the most meaningful thing most of us will ever build. If this resonated with you, do me a favor and hit that like button. Drop a comment and let me know what your biggest relationship challenge is right now, or what insight from this video hit you the hardest. And if you want more videos about relationships, psychology, and building a life that actually feels good, subscribe and turn on notifications because I'm posting videos like this every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.